So I am having a bit of a crisis right now. I am abandoning a newer MacBook for this 2010 MacBook Pro. I'm even going to be passing up this MacBook to be using this 2010, as Apple puts it, obsolete machine. No, literally, their website says obsolete, and honestly, I think it's kind of funny. I am opting voluntarily, out of my own free will, to use a 2010 machine that's almost 10 years old over something in the past 5 years. This is not a video I wanted to make, and this is not something that I anticipated making, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm totally gonna do this. Yeah. So hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Dante and welcome to my channel. You should hit that subscribe button, totally tubular. Yeah, so I'm just gonna cut right to the chase. I am going to be using this MacBook because something happened to my laptop. So it's kind of my free will, but kind of not my free will, why I'm using this laptop. So essentially what's happening is I am going to be using this 2010 MacBook Pro because I have nothing else. My laptop, I have a 2015 15-inch MacBook Pro. It was the one that's completely spec'd out for its year. It was a mid 2015. It's got the dual graphics cards and everything. I just recently got it because I needed something that was a little more equipped for video editing, and I used to have a 2015 13-inch MacBook Pro, which is totally fine if you're just starting out, but I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to mess with 4K, starting to do more heavy, intensive video editing. I need something that's going to be able to export more than, 60 minutes for a 10-minute video. What happened is my laptop battery started to balloon, and ones from that year, there's actually a whole battery replacement program set up and already in place for them, because apparently this is just a thing that happens, and that it's just, I don't know why, I don't know how, it's just a freaking battery, but apparently they balloon up. I called Apple support and I'm like, yo, my battery is kind of, puffing up, and I don't think it's supposed to do that. What do I do? I know full and well going into this conversation that there is going to be one of two outcomes. Outcome number one is they replace the battery in store, I pay $200, and then I go about my day probably 30-60 minutes later. Option number two is they're gonna have to ship it off to an Apple tech support center, because that's just how they're handling this, and my laptop is going to be sent to Tennessee or somewhere around there. Because we live in St. Louis, Missouri, so not that far, but it's gonna take longer because it has to go through ground shipping because of the fact that it's a battery and it's a hazard that could explode. So it's totally understandable why they're not putting it on an aircraft. It's annoying because ground shipping is one of the most excruciating ways to send something to someone. It's gonna take approximately 1 to 2 weeks. Apple sent me an update immediately after I gave the guy my laptop. Yeah, so I go to the Apple store, and then once I get to the Apple store, I'm like, crap, what's gonna happen here? So I'm talking to this person, and I'm like, what are the odds of each happening? What do you think is gonna happen? And they said, well, they might replace it in store, but odds are it's gonna get sent out. And I'm like, well, crap, how am I supposed to do any editing or whatever? How am I supposed to do anything for 2 weeks? Because I have a YouTube channel. I have photography. I do things. So I was like, yo, should I just not use it for right now because it's, a puffed up battery? And they said, yeah, don't use it. Don't use it. Don't use it. Don't use your laptop. So I just closed my laptop. I'm like, whatever, that's fine. I'm just not gonna use it. We'll figure it out tomorrow. And this was last Friday, and I'm recording this on Monday. So I go to the Apple store after work, and I walk in there and I'm like, yo, this is what's going on with my laptop. I'm having some problems, bro. I'm having some issues. As you can see, this thing looks like Hey Arnold's head. This thing looks like a football. What can we do here? And he says, yeah, we're gonna send this out. Without even any hesitation. The guy is just just get rid of any hopes and dreams of you actually having your laptop over the next 2 weeks. It's bye-bye. You better send us some postcards. So I had to surrender my laptop. And I have no laptop right now. Honestly, I low-key clickbaited because I flashed the laptop in the beginning, but it's literally just for thumbnail purposes. That's it. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. But yeah, that's a 2017 MacBook Pro, and that thing is beefed up. But I use it for work, so obviously not gonna be using that machine for personal use. So the only way I had to like edit photos and crap is on my phone, and which isn't that bad, honestly. It's not that bad. I can do it. I've done it before, but it's obviously not my preferred method. Not to mention it's just so much time and effort that I'm just kind of like, I'd rather just not do anything for a while. And I don't know. I don't even know if this video is gonna get up. I don't know if this video is gonna make it on the channel. I don't freaking know. I don't know what this thing is capable of. Because one of my friends was oh so kind enough to let me use her MacBook Pro. She said she had an old one laying around. I'm like, dude, this is lit. I'm gonna use a MacBook. I'm gonna be right at home. I'm like, how old could it possibly be? This thing was running software from 2009. Oh my goodness. I opened it up and I saw those retro Apple icons, and bro, that was pretty bad. So I took some time to update it. It's got like 4 gigs of RAM. It's got a very primitive graphics card. I don't know how much I'm gonna be able to get done with this machine. I've done some very basic level Photoshop on this thing. I'm sure you can kind of see it. And it handled it just fine. Honestly, I'm very shocked that like once I updated this thing to High Sierra, it actually runs Creative Cloud pretty well from what I've seen. I've only opened Photoshop. Why am I talking like I know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I'll probably try out iMovie on this thing because I actually started my channel editing with iMovie. So I know iMovie pretty dang well. And I'm sure that since that's an Apple software, I'll be able to run that just fine. But I don't know if it's gonna recognize the files from my camera because when I first put the raw images on here, like from photos, it wouldn't recognize them. It said that it's not a supported file format. I don't know if I can maybe work around that. I'm still kind of figuring it out. This is new to me. Yeah, I mean, that's really the story behind this laptop. That's why I have it. That's why I ditched my MacBook, because it's not like it was my decision. I had to because the battery decided to puff up. That's cool. I mean, whatever. So that's about all I got. So let's see if this thing can edit. Like I said, it has some very basic level Photoshop. That's pretty nifty. I'm not even gonna try Premiere on this thing. I guarantee Premiere is gonna run like butt. That's not gonna happen. Ooh, I bet the export time's gonna be even worse on this thing because it doesn't have an SSD. I'm gonna try editing anyways, I don't care. But that's where we're gonna wrap up this video. So hey, if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. I promise more content's coming. It's not like I wanted to stop making stuff, but here I am. So that's gonna wrap up this episode, so thank you all for watching. And as always, the most important part, have yourselves a blessed day. Now here's what's gonna happen. On top of the subscribe button, I'm actually gonna put the subscribe button. On top of my Photoshop masterpiece, you're gonna find video. You know what, put one here too. Okay. Yeah, that's all I got.